Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, August 12th. From the San Antonio Express News, my name is Luis Vasquez, and this is your Express Briefing. All of the stories you need to know to start your day. You can expect sunny skies and a high of about 102 in San Antonio today. With the Spurs season still on the ropes Tuesday, rookie Keldon Johnson stepped up, spearheading a 123-105 victory over the shorthanded Houston Rockets. To at least qualify for the Western Conference play-in, the Spurs need one more win and a little bit of help. Today is the first day of school for Boerne ISD, which is offering in-class and virtual options. Chris Quinn has a breakdown of how each local school district plans to start the year. And whether you're still obsessed with the sourdough starters you started with at the beginning of the pandemic, or you're curious about the fad, you'll want to keep an eye on what our taste teams will be serving up later today. And now let's move on to the top headlines for the day. Two Lion & Rose British restaurant and pub employees allege in federal lawsuits that they were terminated after experiencing COVID-19 symptoms. Regardless of whether a worker has the coronavirus, federal law requires certain employers to provide sick leave if a worker experiences symptoms of the virus and seeks a medical diagnosis. Filed Monday in U.S. District Court in San Antonio, the complaints seek unspecified financial damages, lost wages and benefits, attorney's fees, and court costs. These may be the first actions filed in San Antonio by employees who claim they were fired after reporting COVID-19 symptoms. As Patrick Danner found out, they might not be the last. The Rolling Oaks location was the last remaining Sears department store in San Antonio. It closed last weekend, ending the embattled retailer's 92-year run in the area. As in other parts of the country, Sears' footprint in San Antonio has been steadily shrinking. Stores at North Park Shopping Center and Ingram Park Mall closed in 2018, and a location at South Park Mall shut its doors earlier this year. Read more about the iconic brand's rise and fall and what it says about the retail industry in Madison Eisler's latest story. More details on Mayor Ron Nirenberg's plan to spend sales tax dollars on economic recovery emerged Tuesday, but some city council members were still hesitant to fully embrace the proposal 2 days before a key council vote to put it on the November ballot. The city wants to transfer the existing 1/8 cent sales tax, now used for aquifer protection and parks, to job training and higher education for those hit hardest by the novel coronavirus economic chaos. The arrangement requires voter approval, but first, the council has to agree to put it on the ballot. Joshua Fechter checks in with city council members about their concerns over the proposal. In recent months, San Antonio has faced the coronavirus pandemic and calls for police reform in the wake of the killing of George Floyd. The convergence of these controversies speaks to the position that Mayor Ron Nirenberg occupies at this tense, uncertain time. On the one hand, Nirenberg's steady, prudent handling of the COVID-19 pandemic has cemented his leadership credentials and put him in a commanding position to win a third term. On the other hand, he finds himself in the middle of several intense, fractious public policy debates and has disappointed some allies along the way. Columnist Gilbert Garcia has more in his latest article. To keep our readers up to date on the path of COVID-19, the Express News has built a dashboard of interactive graphics showing the spread of the virus in the San Antonio area, in Texas as a whole, and across the United States. We've also created an interactive map of San Antonio for COVID-19 testing sites that don't require a doctor's referral. You can find a link to the dashboard and the interactive map in this episode's description. Next up are your need-to-know headlines. You can find all of these headlines and more inside your Express News subscription. Bexar County added 53 more coronavirus-related deaths to its total as it continues to resolve a difference in the numbers between its count and the state's. Combined with 11 more deaths reported Tuesday, the toll now stands at 519. Joe Biden named California Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate. making history by selecting the first black woman to compete on a major party's presidential ticket, and acknowledging the role black voters will play in his bid to defeat President Donald Trump. Balking at campus reopening plans, faculty members at 4 Texas A&M University System schools in South Texas, including A&M San Antonio, are calling on campus and system leaders to allow more remote instruction while the coronavirus continues to spread. Hospitals throughout San Antonio had adopted strict no-visitor policies for patients as the COVID-19 crisis intensified this summer. But this week, most hospitals are easing those restrictions. The average price for a gallon of regular gasoline in Bexar County was $1.65 on Tuesday, the lowest price of any county in Texas, according to gas price tracking service GasBuddy. A Cedar Park man accused of throwing a child out of a moving vehicle was arrested after a multi-county pursuit. Alamo Plaza has reopened to visitors, but the Alamo buildings and grounds will stay closed for the time being. Columnist Michael Taylor writes, quote, "Dear Tesla, with you set to be the new darling company of Central and South Texas, let me be the first to not welcome you to your new state. How do I hate thee? Let me count the ways." Speaking during a visit to Jefferson County, Governor Greg Abbott said that areas along the Gulf Coast are still experiencing excessive hospitalization rates from the pandemic and said the trends will have to improve considerably before statewide restrictions on bars and other businesses are lifted. The annual August rollout of San Antonio's proposed city budget generally carries all the drama and excitement of a morning spent waiting to renew your driver's license. This year is different for a couple reasons. We explain why on the Puro Politics podcast this week. A University of Texas at Austin model projects that 15,000 more Texans will die of COVID-19 by the end of August. Researchers behind the alarming projection say they are working to correct an erroneous data point that skewed the model's conclusions. Stan Bates, in prison for masterminding a Ponzi scheme that took down former Senator Carlos Uresti, wants the U.S. Supreme Court to review his 15-year prison sentence. The novel coronavirus can count the free market in the United States as its most high-profile victim, writes business columnist Chris Tomlinson. The Express News editorial board wholeheartedly endorses the plan to shift sales tax dollars previously dedicated to the Edwards-Aquifer Protection and the Greenway Trail system to workforce development and then shifting again to Via Metropolitan Transit. Find out why at the link in the episode's description. At the same time the Spurs were keeping their season alive Tuesday afternoon, another one ended it before it started. Somehow, in 2020, the 11th place team in the NBA's Western Conference took its playoffs hopes deeper into August than either Ohio State or Michigan did, and that reality is jarring for everyone involved. An entire autumn with either Big Ten or Pac-12 games on Saturday? Not too long ago, that seemed less plausible than Marco Bellinelli leading a first-round upset of the Lakers. Read more in Mike Finger's latest column. Anole lizards, the most common lizard in and around San Antonio, may not make much noise, but they sure make an impression, especially now as we see them more often while we spend more time in and around the house. And take it from another anole fan, one who studied them for nearly 20 years, there's nothing common about this so-called common lizard. You can find a link to Renee Guzman's Essays Common Critters column in the episode's description. Derek White's teammates said the third-year pro's mere presence on the court gave him a lift as they continued their improbable playoff push. E.T. star Henry Thomas' other family adventure, The Quest, is available now as a Blu-ray reissue. The 1986 movie leads our list of what's new and notable in home entertainment this week. Metallica is preparing to pre-record a concert that will air at hundreds of drive-ins across the country, including 2 in San Antonio on August 29th. San Antonio will be the epicenter of expansion for the Mexican one-price restaurant and bar chain Cerveceria Chapultepec when its first U.S. location opens Thursday near the Pearl. Don't miss the bus, y'all. That's Billy the Bus, a new food and drink delivery service built into a converted school bus launched by Pix Bar co-owners Jessica Marines and Amber Hernandez. And that's all for today. This was your Express Briefing. My name is Luis Vasquez. Please consider becoming an Express News subscriber to get in-depth coverage on all the stories you heard today. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast inside your Apple Podcast app, as it really helps the show. Have a wonderful Wednesday, everyone.